or truth is sacred and should therefore not be desecrated. I think here we all understand, or we all know, that fact is different from truth. That is one other thing that we should know. Fact is different from truth. There's a world of difference between fact and truth. And that's why when you go to the court, all you get is judgment, not justice. Because the justices depend on facts before them. That is the way they see things, or the way things appear to them. But the way things are, in the actual fact, that's the truth, which sometimes eludes a lot of people in their value judgment. This underscores why this type of seminar or similar training sessions, as we are having now, becomes absolutely essential for upcoming or aspiring writers, especially within our own fold. But beyond conventional fundamentals and ethics, which are evolved through different stages of life over time and still continue to be repackaged by successful world-renowned writers of the present age. Respected audience, I wish to refresh our minds to the fundamentals and ethics of writing that are not only unique on their own, but are also exclusively belong to us. They exclusively belong to us, as granted to us by Allah the Almighty, all-knowing. But to understand these fundamentals of ethics, we only need to realize and appreciate, one, who we are. How do we become, or did we become, what we are? What is the purpose of being who we are? And how do we fulfill the purpose of being who we are? It is these hypothetical questions that I wish to take us through briefly in this discussion. Number one, who we are, or who are we, if you like. I'm almost sure that if this question is put to every one of us here individually, either physically here or somewhere online, the most probable or simplest response that we are most likely to get is that we are either members, guests, well-wishers of Majlis Ansar Sultan Qalam, that is MASQ, or even just participants in this seminar. Yes, if you concede to these assumptions of mine, it's an assumption that these are responses we are likely to get if the question of who we are or who are we is put to everybody. But if you concede to these assumptions of mine, even if it's just for the sake of it, then let's go to number two. How did we become what we are? In my own convinced and candid opinion, devoid of assumption now, we are who we are in whatever capacity, as I started earlier, simply because we are members of Ahmadiyya Muslim family, either by birth or by conversion. This is because I do not see how a non-Ahmadi can authentically be a member of Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Qalam, which has been established exclusively for Ahmadi youths, members of Majlis Ulama al-Ahmadiyya in particular. Based on this fact I say, not truth, because only Allah is the truth. Allah wa al-haqq. So I say, based on this fact, by implication, therefore, we are the fruits of certain seeds planted, and indeed evidence of acceptance of prayers of that holy and high-profile personage, the promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam, who was given the title Sultan al-Qalam, King of the Pen, by Allah the Almighty himself, due to his unconditional reliance on Allah for anything and everything. He relied on Allah for anything and everything, as well as his unalloyed loyalty and absolute commitment to the legacy of his master, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through whom Allah gave the whole world that spring of inexhaustible knowledge, that is the glorious Quran, from which the world had continued to drink in order to quench their insatiable thirst. 3. purpose of being who we are. The Prophet ﷺ was purposely raised and commissioned by Allah the Almighty to transform the entire human race, give it a new world order, as well as create a new heaven and new earth. This new heaven and new earth are to be adorned with divine light, through which the entire human race is expected to understand the purpose of their being in this ephemeral world, and consequently do things right henceforth. For this seemingly arduous task divinely foisted on him, the Prophet ﷺ besought Allah, praying, Rabbi a'tini min ladunka ansara fi dinik, wasib anni husni, waslili shani kullahu la ilaha illa anta. O my Lord, grant me helpers to assist me in your deen, that is in your religion, and take away my worries and make me succeed in my efforts. There is nobody else to help except you. So we are parts of the numerous evidences of acceptance of this and other prayers of the Prophet ﷺ. Simply, we are the Ansar, helpers that he prayed for. Rabbi a'tini min ladunka ansaran fi dinik. That was the prayer. Immediately it was commissioned. He continued this prayer. Oh Allah, grant me helpers, the Ansar. That is why the name of this organization is Majlis Ansar Sultanul Kalam. We are to help because he has sought from Allah, help us. To help is being Sultanul Kalam. So that is the essence of our being members of the Majlis Ansar Sultanul Kalam. Moreover, for most of his writings, he will always pray, Rabbi mfukhruha barakatin fi kalami hadha waj'alha fi datan min an-nas ta'wilain. My Lord, infuse the blessings of thy spirit into my writings and incline the hearts of humanity towards it. There is no good writer without good readers. Neither can there be good writer without being good reader. So if people's hearts are inclined or infused towards your writing, you will always gain a good number of audience in your writing. Also, the Prophet we pray, oh my Lord, encourage people to be sympathetic to my mission. So we are here mainly for the purpose of being mentored and guided through the legacy of the Sultan of Kalam, who himself was divinely mentored and guided, even though, like his master, the Holy Prophet Muhammad Islam, he never acquired any degree from any university in the art of writing, so that we can as well disperse into the world to continue propagating, promoting, and perpetuating his legacy. Number 4, fulfilling the purpose of being who we are. Having now understood who we are, how did we become who we are? Now, how do we the purpose of being what we are, who we are? Now we want to look at how do we fulfill the purpose of being who we are. To successfully accomplish the seemingly difficult task for which the Prophet ﷺ was commissioned by Allah, Allah the Almighty himself created a special dispensation for the Prophet ﷺ, the sphere of activities of which he, Allah himself, distributed into several branches. 4 out of the 5 of these several branch dispensation, as analyzed by the Prophet ﷺ himself in his book, Fatih Islam, that is the victory of Islam, are directly linked to writing. While the other one, that is a comfortable reception for guest visitors, thronging our centers, but from time to time, for whatever reasons, and giving them lectures, is also linked indirectly to writing. In other words, the 5 of the several branch dispensation are linked directly to writing, either overtly or covertly. So it can confidently be concluded that the mission of the Prophet ﷺ is all about writing. It is therefore not a surprise that apart from 80 books credited to his authorship, there are a good number, thousands of pamphlets, leaflets, announcements, and so on and so forth, also credited to his authorship. It is this legacy of the Prophet ﷺ which has continued to be nurtured, promoted, propagated, and perpetuated by the successful Khulafa, devoted companions, and ardent followers of him over the years, that we are now being privileged. Yes, it's a privilege by the special grace of Allah to now inherit and keep waxing stronger alive henceforth. Imbibing this spirit of all the aforementioned legacies, in essence, constitutes our own unique fundamentals and ethics of writing today, either as card-carrying members of or supporters or in whatever form of the Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Qalam. The five of the multi-branch dispensation vouchsafed to the Prophet and Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, as explained, as I already mentioned in his book, Picture of Islam, who survive as our own guide and source of inspiration, at least for a start, on whatever aspects of human or worldly endeavor that we may choose to write on. In actual fact, the theme of this conference seems to have captured all that our goals and objectives are all about. That is the jihad of the pen, a mission to uphold the Sultan al-Qalam of the Promised Messiah, alayhi salam. For if the Promised Messiah, alayhi salam, has been raised to come and replace the erroneous concept of jihad that is raging in the world today, he has come to replace it with the jihad of the pen in this age. It implies that we also have a mission, not only to uphold this legacy of his, but also to propagate it far and wide. For instance, the forces of reaction and retrogression are increasing in number and getting stronger by the day, gaining more grounds, winning more souls, especially from among the youths, into their nefarious fold, and using worldly attractions to keep them far away from their creator through writings of various tastes and dimensions. You can see that when Amir Saab was talking to us, he continued to emphasize the power of writing in this age. If we want peace to reign in the world, live and let live is the principle of writing. Live and let live. Yoruba will always say, Ọba kìí pọ̀kọrin. A writer who follows strictly the fundamentals and the ethics can really find himself in trouble with anybody. It is therefore our own task too to employ the same medium of writing to win back the godlessly captured souls. Many souls, numerous souls have been godlessly captured. It is our task to win them back, strengthening and retaining them steadily on the paths of rejuvenation, reformation, transformation, and fortification. Jihad with pen, to many uninformed or misinformed minds, may sound ridiculous, especially considering the level of sophisticated weaponry stacked in the arsenals of many nations of the world these days. But ethically, from the Islamic viewpoint, this is what is required to win the raging battles against godlessness of this age and its attendant moral bankruptcy, as well as spiritual heedlessness. This is a major part of the Prophet Messiah's divinely assigned mission. Hence, it is always asserted that pen is mightier than sword. For sword can only bend heads, not minds or heights. That is how powerful or powerfully limited the sword is. It can only bend heads, it can't bend hearts. You can force somebody to retreat, you can't force somebody to change his mind on whatever is convinced of. Whereas the mission of Islam, for the revitalization of which the Prophet Islam had been raised and commissioned, is to win hearts, souls, with rational or rationally convincing arguments, and not to kill them. The souls you kill, the hearts you kill cannot be revived, cannot be revitalized, cannot be reformed, cannot be transformed. Once you kill once and once alone. Allah the Almighty himself corroborates the power of pen as he cites it as strong evidence to support and substantiate the divinely ascribed high station of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he declares. Allah declares, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Noon wal qalam wa ma yasturun, ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bimajnun. By the inkstand and the pen, and by that which they write, thou art not, by the grace of thy Lord, a madman. This is in Surah Al-Qalam, chapter 68 of the Holy Quran, verses 2 and 3. Hazrat Muslim Maud, Khalifat Masih, radiallahu anhu, explained this verse of the Holy Quran to mean that by whatever test of knowledge and learning the claim of the Holy Prophet is examined, he will be found to be not maniac, as the disbelievers say, but the sanest and the wisest of men. Our main goals and objectives now, therefore, as members of this noble organization of the pen, is to familiarize ourselves with the unique fundamentals and ethics of writing, as divinely vouchsafed to the Sultan's Kalam himself, Hazrat Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, in all our writings. Meaning that we could write on any topic from any field of human endeavor, be it in science, technology, economy, business, politics, war, agriculture, or whatever. But the issue being emphasized here is that whatever issue we choose to write on, in line with the principles and values of the true Islam which Ahmadiyya represents, we should find a way, overtly or covertly, to link and pin down our discussions to convincing our audience, our readers, in this case, on the existence and all-encompassing power of the only one indivisible supreme being, Allah, without the intervention and assistance of whom no true success could be achieved by anybody in this world. Alhamdulillah, based on this principle, and taken after the fundamentals and ethics of writing bequeathed to us by the Prophet ﷺ in his more than 80 books, journals, pamphlets, and leaflets, successful Khulafa and renowned scholars of the Jamaat have also produced and still continue to produce thousands of books on an array of subjects that are now sources of research in different fields of studies by scholars all over the world. By the grace of Allah, we can as well join the train in our little and noble ways. If you read about Hazrat Muslim Maud, even though we all know that he never attended even secondary school, talk less of university to obtain the degree, but he read more than 1,300 books on different subjects: medicine, philosophy, astrology, everything. And that's why if you are privileged to read just one, and that's Tafsir Kabir. Tafsir Kabir is not that 5 volume. It's not not that five volume the Quran that we are reading. The Tafsir Kabir has not been translated fully into English. It's just been partly translated. But anybody who has access to Tafsir, for instance, let me just give you one. Since October last year, the Review of Religion has been serializing the Tafsir on the Muawiyah since October last year. You can't read that in the 5-volume Quran. That tells you the power of pen that have been granted the Prophet and those who follow him. And I'm sure that for those of us who are still very young, but find ourselves in this community, we would always thank our stars and give thanks to Allah that He has brought us. That is why when I started I mentioned that verse of praise from the Holy Quran. Alhamdulillah, Lati hadana lihaza, kama kunna linatadi alawla and hadana Allah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Today, by the special grace of and mercy of Allah, the Almighty, the Mantul Ahmadiyya all over the world has numerous outlets through which our writings will spread far and wide. Apart from those being published from different nations across the Ahmadiyya world and in different languages of the different parts of the world, even here in our dear country, Nigeria, the main Jamaat and its auxiliaries have different publications that are serving the same purpose under discussion. Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in Nigeria is the first Muslim organization in Nigeria to start a newspaper. The truth is truth. Today, many of all of the bodies, except the Anfal and Nusra, are having their own outlets. The Hudam have their Rifan, which metamorphose from Al-Bayan. The Amsa have their Al-Hikmah, which also metamorphose, or I mean, Al-Hikmah, which has now been metamorphosed also. The Lajna Imanillah has their Siddiqah, and Ansarullah has their An-Nasir, and a lot of other publications of the Jamaat that can be used. I am looking forward to a day when Majlis Ansar Sudan Column will also come out with an outlet through which members can express their feelings about either act on certain things or react to certain things. So, with all these opportunities at our disposal, we are good to go. We only need to sharpen our pen, but without forgetting one thing. Ashrat Imam Ali Salatu Wasalam depended on only Allah for all his efforts, and that's why it's Allah Himself that granted him that title, Sultan al-Qalam. And now that we are offshoot or seeds or fruits of the seed planted by the Sultan al-Qalam, I believe we are the taste of the fruit will not be sour by Allah's grace. It will continue to be sweet, refreshing, and satisfying whoever happens to come across it. May Allah Almighty continue to strengthen us with His power of assistance, power of protection, power of inspiration, that we might live truly to the bidding of being members of Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Qalam. Fa'ahru dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallahu ahsan jaza, respected Uncle Sahib. May Allah the Almighty enable us to adjust. Yes, your lecture. Our and I think somebody will coordinate it from you. Bismillah.
Jazakallah khairan, sir. So Are there that have joined the call online, and those of us present in the event hall? We've listened to our erudite scholar, so we would like to request you to share your questions. Father is here to answer your questions. Please put together the question online. If we have anyone who have questions online, I believe you can type the question in the chat, and then we would be able to relay the question. If we also have people seated here, if you have questions, please do ask your questions. But as we put together the questions, with the permission of the respected chairman, sir, we would like to formally launch our T-shirt for Majlis Ansar Sultan al-Qalam. The Sadar Majlis Ansar, earlier told us that you did not announce this thing very well. So we are starting to take that step and, taking the advice of our elder to, spread the word, in a more prominent manner. So can I invite our respected General Secretary to, in person of Mualim Abubakar Saab, to bring forward our MASQ T-shirt. We have a sample T-shirt for each of our fathers seated here. So we don't know your sizes, but we've taken some wild guesses. Hopefully, the clothes will size you. I don't know, we can't force you to put it, but if you just put, just pull it out, just for people to see. Yes. Okay, this commission in terms of. Okay. Yeah, they can bring it up. So much. So I'm looking at which is the back of first one. This is the back. This is the back. I look over to the number. Oh no. We have been advised that everyone should write. So we'll present each to and we'll take photos together. Yeah. No, he has his own too, so everyone has their own. Yes, sir. Let the business also come in the picture.
Are you well positioned? Yes. Photographer? Okay.
Yes, will come in later. Yes, will be captured over. Sorry?
The logo is flying.
Yeah. We are free by bio. We'll help you for this. Okay. Bio is a very perfect. Yes. Do we have questions online? Okay. Yes, there are more than 30.
Okay. Uh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So from our online participants, we have two questions now. The first one is, how can one develop passion for writing? So that's the first one. So the second question is, how can one mitigate the challenge of fear of making writing gone wrong? The first one is, how can one develop passion for writing? Okay. The second one is, how can one mitigate the challenge of fear of making writing go wrong?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's very simple. Developing flair or passion for writing is a very simple process. All you need to do is develop good reading culture. Once you develop good reading culture, you will be inspired to either act on what you read or react to it. And the second step is, once that inspiration comes, just like speaking before a crowd, there could be stage fright. There is also stage fright in writing. If you want to act or you want to react to certain things, there could be fear of being misunderstood, being misconceived. But you just continue to write. Write. Pick any topic and write on. What is that? You want to say something? Okay. I started writing by reading newspapers. My choice newspaper those days were Tribune and Concord, then later Vanguard. They used to have a reader's page, so I would just write anything. So at a point, I started publishing my jokes. But later, I discovered that what I was writing I called them jokes because I didn't have the training. I only had the passion, the flair, which I developed. But by and large, when I started reading more, the passion continued to develop. It is not by training. Training is just to sharpen your brain and mind. The passion is developed naturally or instinctively. So it's just a matter of showing interest, taking interest in writing. Because if you go to school and you read books, if some people have not developed the passion for writing, you will not get books to read in the school. It's because some people develop that passion and flair for writing that you got books to read. So you also do the same thing. Somebody was planting coconuts at the age of 70, above 70, was planting coconuts. Somebody met him there and said, "Why are you planting coconuts at this age? When do you think you are going to reap the fruit?" He said, "Yes, when we got to this world, when we were young, we met some coconut trees, which we were plucking and eating. Those coconut trees are now getting old. we want to plant other ones so that those who coming behind us will also get coconut to eat. So in the same way, we should cultivate the idea of reading so that we can write. A good reader can always be a good writer, just that a good listener can be a good speaker. The other question that how does one mitigate I want to take it as fear. Fear, that is stage fright. Maybe they will see my error. They will see my grammatical mistakes. They will see my this thing. A child that is afraid of falling will never walk. You walk, you fall. You walk, you fall, and stand. Later, you will stabilize. So it's just a matter of continuity. Could sir, please itemize the 4 points mentioned in Party Islam as regards fulfilling the purpose of 5? I said not 4, 5. I only said the fifth one. That is, we can just simply say it's Tiafa. Tiafa, because the Prophet said the first department the Prophet established was Tiafa. For people coming to Qadian, either as critics or as somebody who wanted who wanted the truth, who wanted the light. He welcomed everybody and received them very well. So that's the fifth. And when they came like that, he will gather them somewhere, either outside or in the sitting room, give them lectures. These lectures were papers that have been prepared, that have been written, not impromptu lectures. And that's why anything that happens, any revelation or any prophecy of the Prophet, he will always announce it through posters or leaflets. So the first one is writing books. That's the first one, writing books. The second one is leaflets, because writing books can take time, but writing pamphlets, leaflets, within 10 to 15 minutes, you can write any leaflet and you send out. Just like you do in WhatsApp or all these social media. You can always type anything and send out. That's the third one is replying critics. In that book, the Professor said, I can't remember the thousands of letters that were received, packed in some bags, to which he was to reply. I think we had that desk here sometimes at the headquarters, maybe some 20 years ago. Letters received from morning till evening, continue to reply and giving it to the Amirs for his vetting. So it's part of it. All these are what in another writing of Florence, I said, a time must come where we should not meet anybody in the world or on the street without any of our books in his hand. We should not meet anybody on the street in the world without any of our books in his hand, which means our books must be spread everywhere. Everybody should have it. Even in that picture of Islam, when he started, he said, I'm not bothered whether you understand what I'm going to say or not. I'm not bothered whether you believe what I'm going to say or not. I'm only bothered whether I have delivered my message as given to me by Allah. That's what and that is what we should be bothered about. That we should propagate the message of Muhammad alayhi salam. Does membership of MASQ require any form of document or registration? Well, the chairman, the president, and the officers of MASQ will answer that. I know that there was a time they put online certain Google form for members. I don't know what they do these days, so they will answer that. I think I am done with the two questions.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your beautiful questions. So the next question we have now it's how can one sustain the drive for writing, most especially when there's no really anybody to review your piece. And the next one is, what is Islam's perspective on fictitious writings like fictions?
Well, I said something the other time. I said, you go to court, what you get is judgment, not justice. The justice will not tell you according to the facts before me. Fiction does not necessarily translate to telling lies. It's just about fantasizing on the way you see things. George Orwell wrote a book before Animal Farm. The book was written, I think, 18 something. It was titled 1984. And if you read that book, you want to say that, did he live in this age? The title was 1984. That's the title of the book by George Orwell. So that is fiction. There's another book, something flying objects. Something flying objects. UFO. Yes, that UFO or see flying, unidentified flying objects. The book is about I think about 300 plus pages, and it talked about these objects. You cannot call it aeroplane. You can't call it it's just like round something which the man drew, and he talked about it. Somebody will say, I met it, I was on a field, I saw it, I didn't see anybody there. Somebody will say, it's just like that. That's fiction. It's different from telling lies, outright lies, and that is propaganda. When you talk about propaganda is all about lies. You say something that is not. But fiction, you can view in the next 10 years, what I feel Ahmadiyya should be. This boy, the way I see him behaving, if properly guided, if properly monitored, can be this. That's why you start calling a 7-year-old boy professor. Are you telling lies? You are seeing something in him. So I don't think, although missionary in charge is here, who is an authority in that area, but in writing, I'm talking in terms of writing. Visions is not telling lies, it's projection. You project into the future. And that is what history is all about. History is all about learning about the past to live today and project into the future. So projection could be fictitious. Sometimes it is not always real. What's that next one? Can you please remind me? That's what the question is. I think there was another one there. I think there's another one.
The person asked how he can maintain the line to keep writing when there's no.
Yes, that is why I said, if you write, if you, for instance, if Alitma, Alilifan, The Truth, or Al-Nasir, Siddiqo, if you continue to write, send to them, if you write 10, maybe one day, one of them will get published. I spent only 3 weeks with the review of religion. So the editor asked me the first thing he asked me to write was about Jalsa. The very day we concluded Jalsa, he said I should write about Jalsa. And the following day, I read it online. So what makes somebody happy is, especially in the newspaper industry. What makes somebody happy? A writer. When you see your byline, oh, this thing by so. That byline always inspires and strengthens a writer in the newspaper industry. It's just like caption always makes a photographer in the newspaper industry happy. You see your caption, oh, this photograph is by so. This paper is by so. Continue writing. Don't get fed up. Don't get tired. You continue to write. Only God knows how many materials I have at home. Only God knows. Because every day, sometimes when I'm saying my title, in journalism, you are trained that you have notebook anywhere, everywhere, even in bathroom. So that if you remember anything, take it down because it may just fly out. So sometimes when I'm saying my Tahajjud prayer and there's something comes to my mind, immediately I finish the 2 rakats, I will go to take my newspaper, my daughter, and write it down. The following morning, I start developing it. Only God knows how many of such have developed that have not been published anywhere. And there are others I publish myself. Maybe I just produce 2 or 3 of the books and I have them. So if I die tomorrow, anybody that comes to my library will see, okay, so he wrote this, so he wrote that. It could be source of research for some other people. So you don't just stop writing. Don't stop writing. Every day I write, by the grace of God. Every day. I can't remember any day I don't write. Maybe Yoruba will say, nígbà míì àyè á wà kò ní sọ̀rọ̀. Ìgbà míì ọ̀rọ̀ á wà kò ní sáyè. I don't believe in that. Àyè ló ń wà, ọ̀rọ̀ ló ń wà tí kì í sáyè. Bóyá àyè bá wà, kò jẹ́ sọkúsọ. There will always be something to write, except the world stops abruptly. Otherwise, every minute things happen. Either on which you should act or to which you react. Everything, something must happen. Every day, Nigeria is this. The government is this. Even the match, some people criticize the match. Why did the match not doing this? Why did they not doing this? There's something every time. We should talk to us almost every day. Either to act on or to react to. If you do say, pray for social person, social people, nation, social country, you want to react to it. Why are they behaving that way? Why are they behaving that way? I misread the topic that Professor Tiberi was to talk about. I misread it before I read it again. I read it as right me. I forgot I didn't see the width. Maybe my eye just. So I started writing. I started asking questions. Who is that me in that clause? Who is me? What is me? What right has he to compel me to write? What right has he to invite me? What is important about him, about him that me in that until I now reread it and I saw that it was right with me. So that is how to write. Everything you see, you must have something to write about. That is how to sustain it. Any other question? Okay, because we need our youth to be part of this organization, and we want them to show that they are really fruits of the seed planted by Ashat Muhammad alayhi salam. So please let them know how to join.
Jazakumullahu khairan, ahsana jazakum. The ages of Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Nigeria. So formally, and in line with our constitution, only members of Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya can be members of MASQ in terms of full membership. But we also have avenues for associate members and honorary members. Our respected father, Uncle Chobede Sad, is one of our honorary members. We have Professor Said Oluro-Titimei, Dr. Akinreti Sab, and a few other people. So it means that all the people who still want to, put pen to paper can still become honorary members of MASQ. But for members of the Majlis, you can reach out to us, myself, or Mualim Abdul Basit Odusoya, who is the General Secretary in charge of membership. So you can reach out to him. We will share our contact details across all, Jamaat platform so that you know who to address, the emails and other relevant details. So I think that sort of takes care of that question. So we are happy to also receive writings from other people who are not members of the MASQ, but these writings just have to meet certain criteria, especially promoting the true teachings of Islam as guided by the promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam. So, Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakumullah wa khairan jaza. May Allah the Almighty reward everybody. Amen. After question and answer session, this guest remarks is the next item. So, yes, sir. Sir, anyone?
The respected Amin Sami Nassesha, the missionary in charge side, the guest lecturer, their audience present here and online. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As earlier said, pen is mightier than sword. Sword disrupts, while pen constructs. And if things are destroyed, or human beings are destroyed, who will listen to whatever we have to say, or who will read what we write down? And we are making references to writings of the past heroes. And us that those who have impacted positively in the world of writings, they have achieved. But if we look at it, we will see there is dwindling spirits in the writing habits and even in the reading habits. The young ones are declining in writing, while both young and old, we have that declining in the reading habits. So we have to watch this. And to make significant and remarkable role in the present world, we need to cultivate that habit of writing. And as the lecturer has said, any child that is afraid of falling will never walk. And that is the type that Yoruba people, Yoruba refers to as Fitiwo. A child of 3 years, they will be dragging because that child is afraid of falling and he or she does not make attempts to walk. So as earlier been said, I want to join the lecturer to encourage our youth of nowadays to make significant role in the world of writing and cultivate that habit so that we can leave behind when we leave this world. Because what we are making reference to today, what people are developing, we are the sources of researches and what some other people had written. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we, this present age, what are we going to do? This is a challenge. And I want us to take this challenge headlong and make sure that this kind of lecture, arrangement, the establishment, in the writing skill. May Allah bless our efforts and bless those who have initiated this and also make us benefit maximally from what we have listened to. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I would request respect.
Wish to maintain, sustain, and stand on the existing protocol. And the few words that I have, when I expect the members of Majlis Sudan Ahmadiyya to be more at this gathering, given the fact that Majlis Ansar Sultan Qalam is under the aegis of the Majlis or Sadar Majlis Sudan, and of course, under the general umbrella of Majlis Sudan. One. Number two, I do not have access to those who are online, and also I do not know how much effort we have made in terms of publicity. I would rather want to say that I expect our students, perhaps those who are in the tertiary institutions, to be more with this program as is going on now, because they are at that age when they should actually exhibit the prowess of writing, especially what they have learned. One thing we have to know is this: one cannot just write what you do not know anything about. As they say, you cannot give what you do not have. So actually, I would humbly want to say that the value chain should even be that we should have, I don't know how we want to do it, but we should try to encourage people to read. We have Writers Guild here. Can we have something like Readers Guild? I'm just thinking aloud. Because it is when, shall I say, very, very humbly, out of experience. I picked one magazine of this Jehovah Witness. You know, they distribute it freely when you move on the road. So I got it. And sincerely speaking, I read it. And as I was reading, my mind was just getting agitated. And, you know, reacting to what I was reading, that really seriously made me to come up with another line of thoughts, but triggered or inspired by what I read from that, the tower, right? That's the apology, the tower, which you kind of, Watchtower, thank you, which got published in the Truth those days. It was what the content of that, the Watchtower, that made my mind to be agitated. I said, oh, this is this line of thinking. This is not the way Puranas, Osam has presented it. And I had to come up with, let me say, the Islamic brand of what they wrote. And sincerely speaking, it got published in the Truth. So a way of really getting vibrant Writers Guild would be to have those we might call vibrant readers. And it is essential for us to really, really have that planned, and if there's a way it can actually be encouraged, and then let us have people mentoring others towards really reading. You can guide them on what to read. Of course, there's no limit to what you cannot read. Even if you read rubbish, depending on the fertility of your mind, even if you read rubbish, you can still develop and infer what will serve as a golden advice or a golden path, even from that rubbish. It used to be said, Uncle, remember, nonsense or something. There was So actually, I would just want to have that bent of mind. So if the secretary, the chairman of MASQ can actually encourage this young would be of future writers to start from now reading seriously. And just as was said by Uncle, we should just be able to read anywhere at any point in time. May Almighty Allah guide and bless our gathering. And for those who are online, may Allah also bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakumullah wa sallam. President sir, now we are moving toward the end of the program, and the last is closing prayer. Well, you have not written anything. After guest remarks, you are putting closing prayer. Isn't like that? So only 2 words I would like to say to you. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Respected yes, respected Sir Majid Ansarullah, respected President Saab and other all. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We all discussed Ansar Sultanul Kalam. Ansar means helpers, isn't like that. So recently somebody was saying that you can't give someone which you don't have, isn't like that. You can't help Sultanul Kalam unless you know what he has written. How can you say that you are helper of Sultan of Kalam? Who was Sultan al Kalam? Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam. And I think he was not also king of that time till today, inshallah. He will remain till the day of judgment. Okay. So to be Ansar, to be helper of Sultan al Kalam, you need to study what he wrote. Not only study deeply, try to understand it, because each sentence of writings of Prophet Islam gives a vast knowledge to you, and you can write on one sentence, you can write an article, I believe, whatsoever. For example, was mentioned about truth. I believe Sadar Sahib Ansarullah is here. The publication of An-Nasr, publication of Al-Irfan, publication of Siddiqa, it is only when the Ijtama is coming. That's what I have observed. That only when Ijtama or their Shura is coming, where they think that they can easily dispatch and sell them. There are 2 occasions I remember. I don't think so there are any 3rd occasion where they print these. Likewise, Truth is already stopped since I think 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know, but I think online Truth is going online. I think I know that online it was before it was. But anyhow, I think that if we want these people to go ahead, I think there should be a way of publication in Jamaat, especially the Southern Sarla Sahib who are here and the other bodies. They should understand that if not monthly, at least there should be a regular where after 2 months, 1 month, or 3 months, they should know that we are going to write something for them in coming edition, But edition will suddenly come when the Ijtama is coming, or when the this thing, Shura of Majlis is coming, that will come. I think we need to look into that to develop the taste of the writers so that they can write articles, they can understand what they are doing or what they need to do. You know, in the time of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, when he claimed that no more jihad, and there was a noise against him that he has terminated one pillar of Islam, descent. And Hazur said that he never said that there is no jihad. Hazur said there is no qital. The one shape of jihad, that is fight or war, whatever you can say. But Allah the Almighty told me the time of jihad now is jihad of pen. So I think you are the soldiers of that jihad. And now everybody can understand in whole world, the only thing which can affect people is pen or your or whatever you write when you transmit it in speaking to other people to let them know. So I think that the work you are doing voluntarily, I think the best work somebody can do, you are doing. Okay. And again, I will request all of you that those books which have been translated into English or other local languages, you need to read those books. And I believe that some of those, our Muballighin, those who understand Urdu, they should also be part of your majlis so that somebody can, those books which have not been translated, we can take the material from that. And when you have meeting or wherever you have program, it can be read there, it can be in shape of writing, in form of writing, it can come in front of you because a lot many books have not been translated into English yet. And at the end of, I would like to say and pray that may Allah Almighty be with all of us and may Allah Almighty enable us all to read and understand the books of Islam because Hazur says this is the treasure which Holy Prophet ﷺ said that Imam Islam will like to give the treasure to people, people refuse to take because this is not the treasure which money or other treasure, the treasure of knowledge which Hazur is giving everybody right now. But very, very few you will see those who are taking it. So may Allah Almighty enable us to collect this treasure and digest this treasure and then to spread this treasure and to give this treasure to others also. Jazakumullah khairan. Join me in silent prayer. Allahumma ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام بارك الله لكم.
elections to step through.